In the previous video, we opened up a folder, which is shown over here, and we started working with the file. So let's say you are working on this file, and for a little while, you have to go and take a look at something which is, for example, in this stable_diff.py. Okay. So you go ahead and double click this, open the file. It's open over here in a new tab, and you can go ahead and look at whatever you were doing. And then you go ahead and close this file, and then you open train_test.py and you take a look at some of the code over here. And let's say you thought of something that you forgot in stable_diff.py, and then you go back over here, and now you have all these files being opened, and this tab bar over here is becoming a mess. Okay, so let's say if you have like 15 different editors open, this is going to become really messy really quickly. And that is a very common use case in large-scale software development. So Visual Studio Code people, because they're developers themselves and they work with this, they have come up with a very, very cool solution to this. So the problem is, if you are just browsing through different files, looking at different things, and you open them all, they are going to clutter your tab bar over here, and then you're going to forget like what was the file that I was actually working on, okay, which was this test.py, the original file. So let's go ahead and close this and see how Visual Studio does things. So let's say you were working with this test.py and you want to go to stable_diff.py and you take a look at it like temporarily, like for 5 seconds, and you just want to scroll through it. You don't want to open it. So what you do is you simply go ahead and instead of double clicking on this, you single click on this. So notice this, that again, it has opened over here in a new tab, but see the difference over here? The test.py text over here is in upright font and this thing is in italic. What this italic means is that this file is temporarily open, and if you go to another file and open that temporarily, this tab is going to go away automatically. Okay, so for example, if this test.py is open over here, if I go to train_test.py and single click on it, not double click, single click on it, you will notice that stable_diff.py is simply going to disappear. So single click, that is gone. You go to that again, so you can simply go ahead and work with all the different files that you want to work with, and these files are going to be open only temporarily so that these things do not clutter your tab bar over here. Okay, so really useful when you are working with a large scale software and you want to like just go through that and open a file temporarily and have it close automatically once you're done with it. Okay, so again, if you double click, it opens upright, which means it's a permanent tab. It's going to be there until you go ahead and close it explicitly. If you go ahead and single click, it's going to be there. If you go ahead and single click on another file, it's going to open up for you. If you click on something which is already open, it's simply going to move to that tab. Okay, so you come over here and you click on stable_diff, so it's moving. Now, what if you are working with this stable_diff.py and you realize that you really want to like keep this file open because this is something that is really useful. It has what you were looking for. You want to work with this file along with test.py at the same time. So instead of now having to go over here and find in this very long list of all the files that you have, you can simply double click on this and it becomes upright, which means it is no longer a temporary tab. Now it's a permanent tab. It's going to be persistent in your tab bar over here. Okay. So opening up files is really powerful, and you really kind of marvel at the thought that has gone into Visual Studio Code. And that's why Visual Studio Code is one of my favorite editors, because these people have really thought about the things which make our life easy, and they have put in these default functionalities over here which save us a lot of time. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up the train_test.py again. So let's go ahead and close this. So again, you can go to file and you can click on open. You can also go ahead and click on train_test.py over here. So that also opens this. If you double click on it, it opens over here. But remember that when you're coding, moving the mouse is kind of like a problem, because the more you have to move your mouse, the more you have to move your hands away from the keyboard, and it takes away the thought process. So one of the most critical skills in becoming a really good developer is to learn how to use your keyboard. Okay, so this is where your keyboard shortcut of the command palette comes back again. I'm going to come back to this again and again until like you get a habit of this. So we are going to hit Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P, and that is going to open up our command palette. So notice that when the command palette opens, there is a angle bracket already populated into it. Okay, so this is the command palette, Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P. If you hit escape, it goes away. If instead of Command-Shift-P, you hit Command-P or Control-P, it's going to open up this thing over here, which is the file opening menu. Okay, so it lists all the files which you have, and now you can go ahead and search for it. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to open stable diff, we could just say stable_diff.py. You might be thinking, well, I have to write the whole file name, so that's going to take me more time. Number one, because your hands are already on the keyboard, this is going to be really fast. The other thing is you can have fuzzy search over here. So you can just say SD and it's going to kind of fuzzy search and realize that stable diff has this thing, so it's going to search for that. Okay, so again, Command P or Control P, SD, enter, and your file is open. Your hands never leave your keyboard and it's really, really fast. Okay, so really good. Okay, but now I have to remember a new shortcut, Command P. No, you don't have to, because if you hit Command Shift P, so the only keyboard shortcut that you really need to remember, Command Shift P or Control Shift P, you have this angle bracket, simply get rid of it and you arrive at the open file option over here. Okay, so again, Command Shift P or Control Shift P, hit backspace and SD, enter, and the file is open. Really powerful and really useful. So once you get used to the fuzzy search, you're never going to go back to like using your mouse to open files and going to file and open and all of that. So this is a real time saver feature. And in this first section, I just wanted to give you a feel of the way Visual Studio Code kind of works differently from a normal text editor that you might have worked with previously. Okay, this philosophy was kind of made really popular by Sublime Text. So that's another very popular software, and Visual Studio Code in some sense really surpasses that. So anyway, Visual Studio Code allows you these different functionalities which you can go ahead and use and kind of get used to save your time when you're doing actual development. And that is one of the most critical resources a developer has, their own time. Okay, so that kind of wraps up this section. In the next section, we are going to go ahead and discuss some of the other functionality which is available in the interface of Visual Studio Code. And after that, we are going to move on to some of the powerful functionalities and how you can go ahead and actually extend Visual Studio Code itself.